Day 2 of Stage 2 of the Major is done, and I don't know what the hell has happened, but FaZe have turned it round. They've gone 3-0, and it's with 2 close map wins over NIP. And to be honest with you guys, NIP were playing the better Counter-Strike for large portions of this game. In terms of team Counter-Strike, in terms of the calling, I think they were better. But you see on both of these maps, in the second half, they kind of crumble. And in the key, intense moments, FaZe get it over the line. I do think for NIP, you saw somewhat of a choking issue here. I'm going to be honest. I think we saw some silly mistakes being made. But what has changed for FaZe? That's the big question. I think the main thing is honestly Jacob. His step up is something I was not expecting. It's just his aim more than anything that has impressed me, because up until this point, I had not seen much to show me that Jacob was this really good, snappy, exciting aimer. But here in Stage 2, I don't know what has happened, but his aim looks incredibly sharp, incredibly crisp. And even in this series, I still think when he's forced to make decisions and when he's put into uncomfortable situations, he struggles. And you can see that it gets to him. But I do wonder whether playing in Stage 1 has just given him that little bit of playtime to allow him to play with a bit more confidence. Because honestly, if Jacob was down here with Brokey and Carrigan, as he had kind of been previously, I think FaZe would lose it. I really do. So shout out to Jacob. Twist and Frozen were also great. Over on the NIP side, Shush was super solid. Wrinkle's an interesting one though, because looking at the numbers, Snappy was calling a lot of fast plays on T side, and you can see Wrinkle, I actually think he was really good on a lot of CT rounds. On T side though, Wrinkle, 4 and 21. It's always been a discussion, is Snappy's fast calling style sometimes going to make it difficult for the AWPers? He doesn't really get the chance to go for picks in a default. You want him to be good in the clutch rounds. I haven't massively seen that from Wrinkle. A lot of interesting things to discuss. If you want to hear me talk about that FaZe game, I will put it down in the timestamps, but I am going to start with Aurora, which was the first game of the day. Aurora, Paravision, and this one surprised me for a few reasons. I mean, firstly, I was surprised that Aurora let this go to Overpass. I know it's a good map for them, but Paravision, Jame on Overpass, it just feels like you're playing into his hands. You're playing into his domain. When I think of these two teams, Aurora strike me as a team who just want to be able to rely on their pack play, their individual aimers. Overpass is not that map. And I understand you going for it against certain teams, but against Paravision, it feels like you are playing into James' hands, that he is going to be better at playing across the map than you are, even with these major rookies. And I'm going to be honest, on this Paravision team, I didn't know which of these rookies would be able to do well at the major. Zello is clearly the best player on this team. He has been fantastic throughout. He is so good. He is someone definitely to watch for in the future. And Paravision have done really well despite, in this game, James didn't even have to do that much, despite AW having a pretty poor tournament, honestly. He was struggling massively. He had an okay game here, but he's had a lot of tough moments. Over on the Aurora side, though, here's the interesting thing. The stats look kind of okay. You're thinking Woxic played pretty well. Jota had some good moments. Xantara's there a little lower than you would think. Maybe that's the one that you look at as the biggest issue. Wicadia not having a great game either. But then you break down the stats. Woxic and Xantares, the two A players on CT side, barely died. They had great games in terms of stats on the CT side. But on the T side, Xantares 0 for 11. And you got to wonder, if they'd have gone for like a Dust 2, you just feel as though Xantares maybe would be a bit more comfortable. And I just think in this sort of game for Aurora, I feel like you've just got to flex your individuals a little. Maybe they went against the Dust 2 because they lost it against FaZe. Maybe that put them off it. But it did not go well for them. I think it was maybe a bit of a mistake. And you're going to see why here, because their CT side, kind of okay, but their T side, they didn't get much done. We'll get into the round, starting with round 4. And Aurora, they got the strong start as well. They got the 3-0 lead here.
Playing towards Divider, they expect there to be more presence towards the A.
And you're going to see some of these CT rounds they lose are pretty unacceptable. I'm going to be honest.
In this round, but it's
against the low buy here in this one.
Jota, Wicadia, and Major.
You see how passive this setup is. Wicadia, yes, he's got short control, okay? That's something. That's good. You can see he's got this entire area locked down. But the two players here that should be focused on Monster between them, no one is spotting for anything, even though they know they're against what is going to be a half buy.
Gonna have this execute
and they're both playing this anti-utility, which just means Paravision can pop them.
their shoulders.
Flash on the pillar ready. Jordan going to be cleared out from behind the barrels. Belchinok doing some great work.
Big whiff from Acadia as well, allowing them to cross easily.
Acadia, back
And yes, he keeps short control, but Maja has already been run down in from CT. And just like that, this really bad buy from Paravision is able to pop this B site. And this B site got abused in this game. It was not good enough.
Sure, for the so much listen to it somebody's
and you see, they have to save. That is a disaster. That is a disaster to happen this early on. And then in the next round,
showed up.
Again, B fails. This flash comes in. Wakadia was holding this angle, fully blind. Off the back of this, Jota tries to swing, thinking he needs to help his teammate, who's probably terrified that he's been flashed.
That shadow, blind.
But you can see Jame one step ahead of it in the kill feed. Jame was holding this angle for Jota to swing. He knew that there's a chance that was going to happen. He knew that his riflers could just scale onto the site.
And they both go down.
Wakadia, who was full blind, just goes down.
Jame holds the peak. B bomb site defense knocked down.
So they try and fight a bit more aggressively into Monster. That also goes against them. Okay, not looking great for Paravision, losing a couple of rounds early on a map where you need a good CT side. Now, there were some good individual rounds from Aurora. Xantares, especially on CT side, was great. Woxic and Xantares playing A together is a great combo. But the problem is, I think their less consistent players are playing towards B, in Wakadia, in Jota, and they were not on the same page a lot.
A little bit more aggressive in this kind of round.
See here, it's actually a low buy from Aurora, just with the two save guns from the previous.
Pushing up towards the top of the connector step.
And because of that, I think that's why they maybe don't fully use nades to clear this. They don't use utility on mid. And Xantares, this is the perfect angle after spotting that jiggle.
As he now plants himself in the corner, and you couldn't.
Oh, they just all get owned.
As for a better round for Xantares. Falls away.
And don't invest around it whatsoever.
Woxic Zorps over on B. So they had their individual moments. The A holds were generally pretty good. But again, you're going to see here in this one, it's this super passive B hold again. The flash comes in.
On the flash, just as
Wakadia gets mollied. They smoke this off. But you could also see, take a look at the minimap. Maja is going to pull this utility out.
They've been able to exploit this one a number of times.
There's the initial flash. I think they're hoping that Paravision would have to start spamming and give away that they were in Monster if they were here. That doesn't happen.
On the flash, just as
Maja currently has a molly just ready to try and throw.
Move forward, further utility coming in here for
But it comes way too late. They're already past it. And yes, you have this counter smoke here, but you're going to see Belchinok.
They know what's coming at them. Can Aurora
okay, that is a crazy pre-fire through. But the flash assists were good. And unfortunately, Maja, who was holding back towards Graffiti, has also come into water with the nades and the flashes against him. And look, this is a disaster. This is an absolute disaster for your B defenders to be stuck down here while you've lost every side of the site. You're just going to get pushed from every angle. It's impossible to hold like this. It's impossible to hold like this.
Getting rid of the barrels player. They all line up for Belchinok.
They were not able to be on the same page. This B site got abused, and that's why you can see Xantares and Woxic still haven't died yet in this game, and it's another round where they can't have impact. It was a big issue for Aurora in that first half. It meant that Paravision were in the game, and then on T side, I don't know, it just felt a bit like they were a bit too obvious sometimes with the way they were going.
In the first half, we have got a treat in store for you in this round.
We know that Aurora love to just run set plays, and I think Paravision knew that too. You can already see Zello here peeking in on the A side of the map. But look at this buy, man. This is the round that kills you. Look at this buy.
Lead the way through Monster. Jota's going to be on his hips. Xantares is going to take some fights from short. They've got to hit.
It's not only that it was these executed plays, it was that a couple of them were really poorly played. And this is the perfect example.
Too close on the flank, and they should be fine.
Nades in. Okay, you haven't molly barrels.
There's a good kill from
you get a kill. You get traded by a USP. At this point, you've got to just start going. You're clearly committing to this B site. We can see that.
Belchinok with the USP.
And I don't know why they stopped.
But shouldn't really be anything other than that one kill.
Yeah, but they're held up.
They don't have map control. They just decide to stop, even though they're past this monster smoke. It's a bizarre decision.
Monster, so the flight can have an impact now. And remember, that's an M4.
Don't let it happen, Aurora. Do not.
And again, they just sit for so long. I genuinely don't get it.
Let
That smoke's about to fade.
execute you from behind. Here
What are we doing,
comes.
boys?
Not looking, not
They still aren't really scaling. There's one player out towards Pillar. No one else is confident swinging. You even had mollies if you needed to molly barrels if you were that scared.
ready. Excello, can he step up here? There's one.
But instead, Zello is given all the time in the world to get in
A
behind.
second. Excello has low HP in front of him, and Excello taking everybody.
And it's the one player you would want with a rifle. Excello, incredible play from him. But I need to play this back at full speed because this is just unacceptable.
With the USP, but shouldn't really be anything other than that one kill.
Yeah, but they're held on a monster, so the Flake can have an impact now. And remember, that's an M4.
Don't let it happen, Aurora. Do not
This is the part I don't get. They just mollied water. They're still not moving in.
let
That smoke's
Excello
about to fade.
execute you from behind. Here
What are we doing,
comes.
boys?
Not looking, not ready. Excello, can he step up here? There's one and a second. Excello has low HP in front of him, and Excello taking everybody down.
And those are the sorts of rounds that kill you. They absolutely kill you. And you're going to see here so many all-in execute rounds from Aurora.
Defensive smoke just play.
Again, look at the map. Everyone's towards A. And you can play on some maps like this. Overpass ain't one of them.
Up in monster. Know that Aurora.
Because look at what Paravision are going to do.
Fast rotation.
Eventually, they're going to have 3 players rotated to A. They were jump peeking for this info towards B. There's no pressure here. They've never really lost B short. It's not really a concern. And so as the smokes come in, Paravision have all the time in the world to decide how they want to counter this execute. And that is your problem. If you're going for these execute plays, you need to make them at least not obvious enough so that the CTs can't think ahead of time how they're going to counter it. Paravision just decide, let's play ahead of the nades.
Players ready to go just in front of that dice.
First player goes down.
Slide 2. It's AW.
But AW playing in a position ahead of the flashes, and I have been harsh on him, but this was a big moment he stepped up.
3 players ready to go just in front of that dice box. Light 2. It's AW. His teammates are gone, but he doesn't need them. AW with the 3K.
Eventually traded.
Santar is now trying to make the difference for Aurora.
And Jame actually got spammed there. This was one of the better executes that ended in a 2-on-2. They get the bomb down. It feels like a good position.
And Jota coming back in through bank. Here comes the retake.
As they go back here, the smoke and the molly, as soon as these are thrown, I think you have to figure at this point, he's going to be sticking the bomb. He's mollied off bathrooms over here on purpose. He's mollied it off. Clearly, he's probably just going to stick this.
Smokes down. Defuse started. Paravision.
For some reason, Paravision, they just take a little long. They start spamming the wrong angle on the bomb.
Holding on that defuse all the way.
Not as able to get up top for both kills. Again, Xantares not getting in a position where he can have impact. Honestly, a bit of a poor performance from Aurora. I think they weren't awful in this one, don't get me wrong, but you've got to be beating Paravision. I think the veto was a mistake, and especially against a team like Paravision, where you should have the better individuals, I think they fell into the trap here. They fell into the Paravision trap, because all Paravision needed was players that are just good enough. And that's what they have. They have players that are just good enough to match up to you while having all the information all the time. And that was the big issue. You can't play like that on T-side overpass, or you're more likely than not going to get punished. They got punished here. I think it was a little too one-dimensional. And again, as I was saying earlier, I just feel like Xantares is going to be able to create more by himself and be more comfortable on like a Dust 2. And I know Paravision are a good Dust 2 team too, but I do wonder if that was a bit of a mistake. Let's go on to the other one. FaZe NIP. I was saying earlier, I really do feel like NIP for big portions of this game were playing by far the better team. It's tough for them because for NIP, I genuinely think when they were winning their rounds and winning their halves comfortably, it looked like it was because everything was put together, everything made sense, the team play was great, the calls were great. When FaZe were winning, it was this scrappy, chaotic game that they were just able to wrestle their way through. And you wonder, for me at least, I wonder, how many teams are going to crumble like NIP? How many teams can FaZe drag this deep? Because that's what I was worried about. I was worried that FaZe would just start too poorly and then wouldn't be able to drag it back. And there definitely were improvements, don't get me wrong, in the overall team game. But I would still say, in terms of team Counter-Strike, NIP probably were a fair bit better than FaZe for me in this one.
A pretty big risk in his career.
It's a very back and forth start, but you're going to see Wrinkle early here. He gets really involved.
Potential that could have got a big contract on a number of different orgs and decided to try to run it all the way up the VRS rankings with NIP.
This is the wrong round. I wanted round 7, I think. Okay. I was going to say, I was waiting for Wrinkle to get involved, and he didn't get involved. Or maybe it's not the wrong round. I have no idea. Which round did I want?
Oh.
I mean, I thought it was round 6, but apparently not.
Again, insta-kill on Snappy, but CT Spawn almost recovered in time.
Maybe it was round 7, then.
You've got low guns on NIP.
It was, okay. You see in this round, Frozen
Damage.
trying to throw this molly top banana against what is a kind of weakened buy.
This is a big opportunity for FaZe.
He ends up getting cut off from his teammate by that smoke. NIP really focused the utility here.
You've got low guns.
And Frozen, he throws this molly, and look, it bounces. It was going to be a good molly to cut off this position. You can clear these angles off the back of it. Instead, watch what happens to this molly.
On NIP.
It hits Wrinkle. It lands back here. Now this player is completely fine.
We're making this feel like a full buy, but they don't.
But you go back to Frozen. I feel like you should know that. You can see this molly. I think you can see that it's not where you think it is.
Not that much.
But he feels like he's got it mollied off. He moves in.
Frozen finally whittled down somewhat. Good swing.
Gets dealt with. And he was just completely solo against this half buy. And to be honest, Frozen statistically didn't have a bad game, and he had some good rounds, but I actually think he got caught out a lot by NIP today. I actually didn't think he played that well. I think he got found out, and I was a little disappointed with his play, especially because I think NIP's B hold on Inferno can be quite weak with Snappy and U-Jerks playing there. Two pretty bad fraggers for NIP, and yet they were able to dominate Banana.
Deep CT smoke.
And as the round goes on,
Some match.
you'll see that FaZe just never compete back for Banana, and these are some of the bigger picture issues that FaZe have. They're not always fully aware of what's going on all across the map, it feels like. Because you know that NIP have this banana control. They feel comfortable that they've got it. So yes, you come towards A, but you don't have the utility, and you've got to know that these players are going to be rotating back to A. They feel very confident that they have B completely under their control. Snappy's got another smoke if needed. So of course they're going to stack for it.
Perfectly.
And unfortunately, FaZe, they use so much utility in the early round. They don't have the utility here.
Pick up for Kerrigan on the
They're down
arch
to
side.
one flash, by the way.
It's a low health.
Kerrigan gets the one kill,
Jerks easy.
but we're seeing a lot of these solo Kerrigan lurks, and I get that he's trying to call on the fly this loose game. A lot of times, Kerrigan on the solo lurk, unless he outpositions people, he's not going to get away with them.
For Kerrigan.
And it feels like this round is so reliant on Kerrigan getting these kills to open up the potential for a B split.
Finds that one with barely.
And yes, he gets the first, but Wrinkle, again, had a really good start.
Damage back, but again, just the only arch player not expecting.
You see Kerrigan completely caught, completely
Wrinkle
solo.
to come out with that full gun. There's limitations.
As they go for the short play without the utility, these two players are just going to stick here. They've got everything under lock and key.
Short for NIP, but not for Wrinkle. Kaspersky up top. Loses his pit player, strikes.
The crossfire doesn't even go as well as it could have.
While the distraction was live, we go 30 seconds to the clock here. Twist has got to find a way to get back over,
They have no moto smoke.
Right? Just trying to get that.
But eventually they get the kill, not before Twist.
Here, Twist has got to find a way to get back over,
They have no moto smoke.
Right? Just trying to get that bomb out. Twist gets back with 2. Wrinkle, he knows where he's at, and he's got the health advantage over Twist. Wide swing, finds it.
A Twist could have got it. And a lot of the rounds for FaZe came off individual play, but you see, that time, they can't get bailed out of it. And again, throughout this half, it just felt like everything FaZe did not work. And NIP, they always had these little tricks up their sleeve.
You know, Snappy hasn't had to really
Here in this one, I love this round from NIP.
Just yet.
Utility looks great.
Hasn't had to criticize any of his pieces.
Boost in Boiler. That is a CT incendiary thrown into Boiler.
Oh.
That perfectly just doesn't spread to this back area to allow this boost, to allow this angle that now FaZe are not going to expect because they've just heard this molly and Boiler. They think it's clear. They think NIP are mollying this because they're scared. NIP ain't scared.
That is crazy. That might bait him.
Love that they keep this boost mantled.
That was so perfect.
But the shots are missed. Luckily, Shush will help.
Kaspersky nearly whiffs it, but he gets the kill. Actually, it's Shush that ends up getting the kill, thankfully.
And they got so much damage.
Twist pulled forward through that door, wanted to help out, but yeah, you're right, damage.
And then over on B, you'll see U-Jerks here, cut off from Snappy. Feels like a good position thanks to the molly.
Look at Jacob and Frozen. Ujerks from the corner of
Karrigan is just in so far ahead of everyone else, doesn't even seem aware of the possibility. I think he heard the molly hitting Snappy and just went for that kill.
Another
easy
bait.
kill on Karrigan, as once again you're gonna find FaZe players looking the wrong direction.
He just fell for 2 mollies. That was theirs, right?
Too many times it felt like FaZe were just getting caught out and were not aware of angles. The T side, it still is an issue for me at times. I really think that. I really think that the big picture stuff is a concern, and those struggles on B for Frozen in part on this first half I think was very disappointing, because I think that Nip were gettable on that B site, and I feel like that was a mistake from FaZe to not go for that more. If you're going to rely on your individuals so heavily, get them in the position where they can get those fair B fights. Get them in that. But never really happened until FaZe started coming back. And on CT side, it was completely different. The team play was there.
This time, though, no challenge into brackets, so NIP are just
Lovely timing on this flash from Jacob as the smokes come up. I'm assuming Twist called for it.
gonna slot into all this open space. Oh,
Beautiful flash to set up the Twist 2K. Twist was, again, incredible all day long. His aim is so good, and his decision-making generally matches. You can see why he suits this loose Karrigan team so well, because a lot of what he does seems to be quite self-directed at times, but it works.
very nice. Twist getting a double.
Brokey's still missing AWP shots. We know he's ill. He had an alright day. It didn't really do much. He wasn't a massive factor.
Missed shot from Brokey, but it's all good. You've got Jacob on cleanup.
Jacob gets his.
From the pit, Twist comes back in. Wrinkle hits a headshot.
Eventually, Brokey hits his shot. Solid A-hold. NIP getting nothing. We go ahead to round 23.
What's the plan?
And there are still some somewhat, scary Jacob moments.
How
This one
efficient were those comms?
Again, they're gonna try to pop.
just gets full blinded and caught by the early rush.
Huge move. Mac-10 just barrels through, and this time there's not a third piece. It's on Twist to at least hold off one side.
We get it into the
Otherwise, it's
4v4.
Win this half have just been straight con. Flashes up short side.
Feels good for NIP.
Already. We've got 3 kits on the play, so as long as Karrigan's not defusing, should still be good for time. Ujerks looks to strike. Shush gets
You
in.
see the trades, but then the Ujugs whiff. You start to see NIP struggling as the game gets close.
No, it gets turned on. Frozen gets the better of
But then here,
Ujerks looks
it's
to
actually FaZe that fumbled
strike.
this one.
Shush gets his.
They get a huge advantage.
It gets turned.
Smoke is going down already. He's smoked off from the bomb already. You kind of know he's in pit at this point. You've cleared everything else out. But Frozen pulls out a smoke of his own for some reason.
Frozen gets the better of it on the short side. Kaspersky from inside, big kill.
And boom, 2 quick kills.
Shoots through smoke.
Another one at the end there. Yeah, a huge clutch from Kaspersky. Somehow NIP hold on.
Kaspersky from inside, big kill. 2 shoots through smoke.
I guess Frozen had to have been worried of the player up in the apartments, but they just killed him. And also, I'm not sure massively what this smoke is needed for. I guess the player could be mini pit. That's a concern you have. But I also think Brokey sticking the bomb straight away when there's a smoke up like this. This bomb is planted in a way where the angle is very small that the T has to spam. Because there's this box on this side, you've really only got this spot you can be. It's not like you can be on either side of the bomb. It's really just here that you have to be worried of.
Kaspersky from inside, big kill. 2 shoots through smoke.
So Kaspersky ends up getting away with one. But into this,
Ability to flash through. Or
again, you see Frozen. I think he had some struggles this game. He tries to block this smoke.
Frozen's been rock solid on
Frozen doesn't have utility either.
Just goes down trying to block the smoke. He tried to do that in a previous round and it worked. This time he does it and he just gets caught out.
He's just so fixated on the smoke. Staring up into the sky, Ujerks takes his head off.
He jumped up, tried to catch the grand slam, and goes down.
Misses with back-to-back.
And this 4v4 post plant feels like a golden opportunity for NIP.
Retake with no kit featured. Frag grenade chuck.
Ujerks even wins that first fight against Karrigan. They are all in from CT.
Out by Brokey. Op's gonna have to be a part of it.
But you're going to see here, Wrinkle, he went for that fight early. Now they know where he is. There's no real utility coming to him. They've mollied triple instead.
Twist.
Wrinkle goes for the fight, and I don't know if he needed to do that. A little solo. You've got this crossfire with Shush, and you have the banana player who currently is looking this way. You had this crossfire established. You had this player here, this player here. I don't know if Wrinkle needed a peek, but he goes for the fight.
Trying to get his.
He goes down. Now that player who was up top, Ujerks, feels like he's in a scary position.
Brokey over the shoulder.
He goes down as well. They've already fought into CT before this crossfire can even get involved. And at this point, Brokey must land a banger onto Kaspersky. I'll give him that.
Collects and
Look at that kill. Kaspersky, I think, was holding this angle. He just goes down so quick. And suddenly Shush, who was sitting here in a great crossfire opportunity,
Start to push this in. It's now going to be Shush. 1v3 point.
gets one kill, gets traded. I think NIP, they just got a little too eager to close. And into the overtime, you could see that it kind of broke them a bit. You could see it.
What they pulled off on CT.
The individual fights started to just come in way too much because NIP, they were winning off of their team play and off their utility and off of catching FaZe off guard. But once you get into overtime, it's harder to keep doing that.
Even this last
It's still there, but if they're going to bank back into it, they got to get something done.
Started getting the solo fights. Brokey gets the pick.
He's now hitting.
Yes, sir. Finds another one with a free fallback, supported by Jacob. Set up with the crossfire. Smoke pops in front of it.
And another solo fight Jacob able to find thanks to that
Go for the
smoke.
liner angle. Jacob set up with the crossfire. Smoke pops in front of
She
it.
still tries to go through. No support from Kaspersky, who's stuck
That's
behind.
all good. He'll barrel stuff. Shush. 9.
And this one is crazy. Twist flashes himself through.
Snap over by Kaspersky. Not able to find it.
Just crouches under the headshot. Kaspersky, he's been good at the major. I think in this series, he struggled a little more just because the FaZe players can shoot so hard that normally that's a fight you'd bank on him to win. But here, Twist gets him.
Multi-frag. Twist has got his number. Clearly best player in the server at the moment. Frozen lets one go.
And to be fair to Frozen, he did step up in overtime. This is what I'm saying. The stats look good. I just don't think he played as well as those stats make him look, necessarily. So FaZe, they find the comeback. But that was their map pick. We know how good NIP can be on Nuke. I was fully expecting a third map here. And honestly, the best half of Counter-Strike in this series was easily NIP's T side of Nuke. They owned FaZe on this T side. They really did. And once again, it's those same issues for FaZe, man. Karrigan towards Yard is so exploitable that FaZe are having to play around it. Just as an individual, you see round after round, he gets caught.
You up and integrate you well.
I think that's what's making
FaZe even got the pistol and the conversions, by the way. So for NIP to get a good T side out of this, insane.
NGL. Yes, he's played with all of the best players of all time, but also comfortable.
New level for Jacob.
Straight away, you see the Yard smokes. There was a little gap, but Brokey doesn't have the
In
angle.
terms of self-worth
So they have to be
and
concerned.
confidence.
And maybe Brokey miscomms here. I don't know, because he is holding this gap, but Ujux is already past it.
Top of that, then the rest of FaZe know that things are moving in the right direction. They can focus back on the
Flash in. Karrigan gets caught. Karrigan goes down, trying to reposition. And from here, NIP, they just position themselves onto A. FaZe have to save. Okay, already. Early start. And I think NIP, purposely went for these Yard plays early to try and make FaZe worried about that. And as soon as you're worried about Yard, the entire rest of the map can open up for NIP.
Is Karrigan.
Here in this one, they try and switch it up, FaZe. Karrigan here.
Already outside, back online.
He's actually flashing full twists to make an aggressive play on Yard. So I think they realize Karrigan at Yard is a problem. They're trying to find an answer by putting twists here to make NIP a little more concerned.
Fast play outside here for the Ninjas. Wall of smokes is
Flash doesn't seem to blind him. Ujux able to get the kill. Maybe the flash was too late. I don't know, because he's blind now.
Twist on the front end of main.
And they're there. Kaspersky shoots towards Karrigan.
Trying to rotate over to
You'd have thought Karrigan would be aware that there's a player top main.
Is Karrigan, but nade pressure, that looming threat of all the bodies. Twist just
But
confirmed.
his read on it is just wrong. He clearly must not have realized there is that player top main. And the mad thing is, he never even considers the possibility of it.
Karrigan underneath Kaspersky.
You see here, he was so focused on the smokes, so focused on trying to make this proactive play that, honestly, I think was a big risk anyway, that the smokes seemed like they were about to
Notice
fade.
that. It took him too long.
Uh-oh. Headshot up to the
I guess you had Jacob
player
near
on top,
you to
but-
try and help, but that's just a kill back. That's another 5v3 that, of course, will be converted down onto B because there was no one there to rotate. Then here in the next one, again, you get that snappy, classic, fast calling.
Fast door pressure, NIP, change of pace.
Fast A-rush. I loved this smoke out of spawn. You'll see on the minimap, it lands here. It cuts off the Squeaky side.
Fast door pressure, NIP.
The utility on Squeaky gets beaten really
Change of
early,
pace.
and because of this smoke here, it's actually very hard for FaZe, alongside this molly, for them to do anything about this push. Because they don't have a player in main in this round, there is nothing they can do about this. Kaspersky can just go into the smoke that they've thrown, because there's not going to be a molly when you've got a smoke up.
A-site's been theirs.
And Twist, who is on top hut, is just getting mollied as Kaspersky entries through with the flashes.
Kaspersky trying to get out through the smoke. Plenty of bodies in position. Still that.
Beautiful call. Really beautiful call from NIP there. To have the quick wrap in from Squeaky alongside the util for Top Hut, it just means that Kaspersky has a great opportunity. It's actually UJerks who gets the kill this time, but you see, FaZe were going to be screwed whatever happened. They were just losing these rounds so soon, man. They were losing them so soon.
NIP, because I feel like so far it's been impossible.
Here in this one, NIP, they've put a bit of pressure on A.
To get a read on Snappy's attack. It has been.
You can see Shush getting out through Squeaky, and I think FaZe were just so concerned about fast plays at this point that you're going to see Carrigan wipes this smoke on Yard and starts trying to rotate. But this time, UJerks is here. It's not just a full-on rush.
Round by round.
And that smoke got wiped, and Carrigan just got caught.
On Shush, though. That's going to help.
And even though Shush gets dealt with, just that one kill on Yard suddenly makes FaZe a bit worried about the Yard fast play because of how many fast plays NIP have been running. And again, you see just how important it is. That 1 Yard kill
it has been so
makes sure
different round by round. Getting the dink on Shush, though.
That Twist feels like he has to go Yard. If Carrigan doesn't die on Yard, there's no need for Twist to do this. He can hang around towards Squeaky. Maybe he can help deny the vent drop or at least try and do something.
That's going to help.
But you see how important losing those early kills is, because now NIP, they actually just vent drop. They were in the heads of FaZe. FaZe never knew what was coming.
They pull that smoke open and UJerks fought back, it looked like, and they get the vent sneak as well.
Wow,
They get to vent so quick, and look at Frozen. He has no clue they can be down vents this fast. They're only really scared about the secret timing.
Again,
Frozen's like, what do I do now?
Oh.
Boom. He gets caught off by these players down the vents way too quick. FaZe were just getting rocked by these fast plays, round after round. I could have broke down that T side through so long. It was beautiful. Every time, there was a different set play that Nip ran at the start of a round that worked really well. But FaZe, they just about got enough rounds on the board. And NIP even started with a pistol round win. They get up to a good position here.
Scout, though.
Oh, sorry, I think FaZe did. But then
This is the danger.
Slow in.
they go into this, and a very slow anti-eco round where initially Twist just gets spammed through the smoke. FaZe, they don't have a massive amount of utility. They have a decent amount. But they just kind of pause for a long time. It doesn't feel like they have an answer. And if you're going to go for this sort of slow play, you need to have some good utility. You need to be methodical with it. And these are the rounds that FaZe can lose at any moment because they're so reliant, in my opinion, on individuals. And because the rounds can be so loose.
Scout, though. This is the danger.
Wrinkle tags with the scout. At this point, I feel like Brokey should surely be trying to molly this position. You know there's a scout back here. You can get him out, and you can get a really easy kill, you would think.
Slow anti-egos are more dangerous.
Frozen.
I don't know if he whiffs that molly or what, but it lands here, which means Wrinkle is still alive, and that makes all the difference.
Oh, and Jacob now suddenly forced by here for Nip is looking perfect. Deagle shot pops up. That's Brokey down to 60. He can't get
another tag. All the kills. FaZe instantly lose without a single frag, without even really any damage on these players. They're just able to hold this little crossfire on ramp. The utility was not good enough to deny them. But then the NIP choke began, and this round will haunt them. This round will haunt them. And yes, you can call it FaZe BS. You can. I still don't think they'll be able to get away with this against top well-drilled teams, though, because look at this. Snappy walks in. Okay, he gets glocked.
And even the Glocks.
Wait a second, and the upgrade.
Hold on.
Imagine.
How is Kaspersky taking a full mag to kill Twist there? That is already so bad. Clearly, the idea is, okay, if Snappy walks in, Kaspersky can get this easy trade.
And even the Glocks.
Wait a second, and the upgrade.
Hold on.
Imagine.
No, okay. Kaspersky's gun's empty, though, so they're going to keep that pressure.
And then Shush, the same. Struggles to control this.
They knew he was pinned in.
Uh-oh. Careful.
Great chance for another recovery moment out of Nip. As long as Shush is alive, I believe they'll close it. Has slipped the net in this man advantage.
And honestly, Shush, it's a shame. He was so good today.
Going into heaven, Billy.
Wrinkle's looking the wrong way.
Imagine
But while that's happened, Carrigan's been able to sneak through yards.
a moment from up here with this gun.
No one's watching.
What could he do, Connor, really?
Wrinkle's looking the wrong way.
No
Two
way.
block shots to the side of the head.
It's got to be 3, though.
Yo!
Wrinkle gets dealt with. It's still winnable for sure. They've still got a bunch of Glocks.
Comes through from Frozen. Shush doubles back out of main.
Shush with massive whiffs as well.
Sprite is horrible. Doesn't cut down anybody. Then that SMG
Gets done by Frozen. 3 of them still have Glocks, but the one player who didn't gets up close.
gets another.
Ujux has to save, and this is the start of the end. This would have been 10-6, and I think NIP would close from there. I think it's a big enough lead that they would close on their CT side. Instead, FaZe start coming back. And NIP, they started to do a bunch of these aggressive opening moves, really trying to throw FaZe off. And some worked occasionally, but here, FaZe just read it. They have this lobby stack. We've seen NIP just keep going aggressive, and I think FaZe realized at some point, let's just stack lobby more heavily, because these aggressive moves keep happening.
8 players occupied. Brokey ready for the push.
Double stack there, so Frozen gets an easy frag.
Frozen insta-kill to Ujux.
And Jacob was holding elsewhere. That's the hot push.
Jacob holds his own. Finds the
Doubly handled.
second.
And I think it was a mistake for NIP to play so active, because I don't think FaZe's T side would have been good enough to necessarily breach you if you just played a little further back. But instead, FaZe are right back in the game.
And I think they're going to call him out. They are coming up to
You
Ujux.
also want support.
This is the right play, FaZe.
That's not what he has. This is Ujux and Ujux alone.
Ujux here, only the 1 kill on ramp.
What does the ramp hold offer? 1 kill and back into the swing. Full
Gets traded.
commitment.
And you
Only
see these Carrigan Lux that I'm talking about.
1 frag found, but it is a good amount of damage. That has to be said. Ujux getting
He's quite often off by his own. It's not like he's playing this hard entry role all the time.
more than he should have out of that.
Well, he got his kill, and so did Kaspersky with his FAMAS, and now...
And I still don't think he gets enough out of it a lot of the time. You see, he gets picked off. You're thinking NIP are in great shape, and again, they find a way.
This round should be a
They
formality.
find a way to
Needs
lose it.
have control for his teammates to come down.
For a second.
And you know
Is it
what?
too much
Kaspersky, he's solo
space
B.
given up?
He actually plays this very well. He lets them in the site.
Doors
Here's the plant, swings open the door to delay, starts calling for the rotation, but wants to keep this control because he wants his teammates to be able to rotate in behind him.
Oh, goes for a second plant. Just the tap this
Jiggles the plant again, spots that it's not being planted again.
time. Kaspersky gives him the shoulder.
Eventually gets mollied off, but now the CTs are able to get into position for this retake.
They're going to set that on fire. Rotation comes down in through the vents. Brokey's going to take the fight.
Interesting.
Yeah, they're going to flash
In comes the frozen flash.
him into the stairs. Blinded
Boom,
punch.
beautiful. Great start from Brokey.
Good headshot to Kaspersky.
Start at 2-on-4.
Tucks into this corner, but now, you know there's a decent chance Brokey's roughly round here.
Pieced together here for the 11th to deny Nip.
Stuck in this corner, they're going to double swing this.
12th round. Brokey in the corner. Fights off.
Except Snappy, it feels like he hesitates just a little. Just a little.
Here for the 11th to deny Nip that 12th round. Brokey in the corner. Fights
He'll
off.
feel like that's a kill he needed to get. Brokey's basically untouched.
It is headshots galore.
Frozen gets the final kill, and there is a Brokey round where he steps up, but I think you can see the NIP players, it's a bit of a choke job. I'm going to be honest, it is. And this is the other issue with Snappy. I think his calling was great here, but his individual level isn't always the highest. Wrinkle didn't have a great map. Ujux actually played well in this one, but generally is a weak fragger, and once it gets to overtime,
It's a nice angle.
I mean,
for
you just see moments like this. Ujux
flash over.
sitting in warehouse. He was holding this the entire time. He had Twist dead to rights in the back, but he tries to wait for another kill.
Twist is going to take it into main.
Wait, what?
Boom. Twist just gets him. Insane. But Ujux, he could have just got the free frag if he wanted.
Flash over. Twist is going to take it into main.
Wait, what?
Instead, he overthinks, and Twist still ridiculous.
He turns it.
He had to see that, surely. What is this?
Jacob
Shush gets caught on the site. Generally had a good game, but
finds a
this time
headshot
gets nothing.
simultaneously.
Another incision. Kaspersky up top. He's got to save the day.
Feeling pinched at the moment, surely. Waiting for that main swing. He gets his one. Damage onto Kerrigan as well. Jacob emerges. It's Kerrigan to come out of main.
And he got well handled onto the A site. FaZe go on to win. I still feel like they had to rely heavily on individual moments. And again, I expect a team like NIP to struggle in these tense moments, in these pressure moments. I'm still not sure in the next stage if FaZe will be able to get away with this because of how loose it all can look. But overall, still a good turnaround from FaZe. It has to be said. I still think Twist is great. Again, I wasn't all that impressed by Frozen, but he had some good moments today. Jacob, the improvement from him seems to be real. I'm still not convinced he's going to be some megastar in the future. I heard the desk talking afterwards like he's got some crazy high potential. I'm still yet to see if he really has the mind for the game to be able to make a bunch of decisions that get him into favorable fights. I think today his aim was very good, but I still think we see him be a bit hesitant, be a bit unsure in some moments. And sometimes that's not going to improve from a play. You can't just assume that's going to improve. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. We'll see as he gets more comfortable. There is still the Brokey issue. I think he had moments, but he again was just pretty mediocre today. And Carrigan, these lurks, I still don't think they're always necessarily working that well. It feels like it has to be a lot of success elsewhere, and then those lurks like aren't even needed at that point. So it is a bit confusing to me, and I still think he can be exploitable on Yard at Nuke, as we were seeing, but they found a way. They found a way. That's all that matters. We'll see how they do in the next stage. I still feel like they are loose enough that some of the well-drilled teams will catch them out. I think we saw that in moments here, and to be honest, I think NIP, if they were a team that had a bit more experience, I think they would have closed this. Unfortunately, I wonder if it came a bit too soon for NIP, because I love the story of this team. I love that they've been able to grind their way, that they're finally going to be consistently competing at LANs, it feels. Because for a long time, they were in that VRS hell where they couldn't compete at LANs. They were begging, screaming, please, can we get to some LANs? They weren't able to. But I think because they haven't had that many LANs they've played previously, I just think a couple of these players don't fully have the experience, like Kaspersky, Ujerks. These are guys who needed a little more. Even Wrinkle, I would say the same. And in the previous stage, Kaspersky could play very well. But I think here, you saw, wasn't able to get that same ability. Wasn't able to rely on just being clearly the best player in the server anymore. Because the FaZe players were hitting back, that ended up being an issue. Either way, thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed. FaZe are back, apparently. We'll see how long they can keep it up for. We'll see if they can BS their way all the way through. And I'll catch you next time.